Our next speaker is a personified what's what of social and free-to-play product management. His list of titles is so long that I have to actually look at my notes to get them all. But he's been managing product at Kabam, Spill Games, and now Social Point. Jose CANTOS is going to tell us how to climb the top grossing charts. Jose?
Thanks for the intro, Scott. And thanks to Casual Connect for giving us the chance to be here again, because we were at Casual Connect last year, that tiny number. So today I'm going to talk about a journey to the top grossing ranks, about what we do at Social Point, about Dragon City, which is our most successful product in the company, okay? And I'm going to start talking about Social Point, who we are, our mission, our key factors, the key factors of our success, and so on. And then we're going to move forward, and we're going to talk about Dragon City. I have called that part behind the scenes, because we are going to talk about how we run a game as a service and how we have reached the top grossing ranks on the App Store and on Google Play in America specifically. So let's start with Social Point. And the most important thing that you must know about Social Point is this. You have mentioned, Scott, that you are from Silicon Valley. Well, we are from Silicon Valley with B. B for Barca, B for patatas bravas, if you like the food, and B for beautiful beaches. So, you know, that's the most important thing that you have to remember about Social Point, right? No, I'm just kidding. And after this super crappy joke, let's move to the serious part, right? Okay, Social Point was founded in 2008 by two super young guys, Horacio Martos and Andres Bo, who are the current CEOs of the company. We have our offices in the sunny Barcelona, as I have mentioned before. There are 180 people working right now at Social Point. A very cosmopolitan environment, because there are 20 nationalities from New Zealand to America, Israel, all around Europe, and so on. We raised $15 million between 2011 and 2012. Our main investors are Greylock, Nauta Capital, and also ID Invest. And we are leaders in mobile platforms and also on Facebook. That is a picture of our canteen in our, at our offices in Barcelona. And that's a picture of some guys from Social Point having fun in front of the Sagrada Familia. Okay. So what's our mission? Our mission basically is to connect the world via awesomely fun gameplay. So we want to foster social interaction among our players, and we want to provide them with super fun games. These are our most successful products so far, Dragon City and Monster Legends, right? What's our vision? We strongly believe in mid-core games. And what does that mean? Basically, mid-core means that you are targeting at a broad audience, massive audience. The games have a super good retention compared to hardcore games. These games have a super long life also. So for example, we have Social Empires on Facebook. It was launched 4 years ago, and it's still making money. That's impressive, right? These games monetize very well compared to casual games. So they don't monetize as well as hardcore games, but at least you have a very good retention, right? And last but not least, and I would say that is the most important thing, is that we really like to play our games. So if you don't like what you are doing, if you don't like what you are creating, then you have to change your mindset, or you have to change what you are doing. That's it, right? So these are the key factors of our success. 4, basically. The first one, which is in line with what I've mentioned before, is that our games are really easy to play, so anyone can understand our games. Then we foster social interaction. In our games, you can help your friends can help you out. You can visit their cities. You can do a lot of stuff with them. You can exchange your experiences with them. So we try to make our games be social, extremely social. We are focused on strategy and PvP. And even though you may think that Dragon City is not PvP or battle-oriented, there are 2 big features in the game which are basically related to PvP and battle system. And we are gonna, okay, no worries. And we are gonna provide our players with something that they've been asking for since long ago, which is a new battle system and leaderboard. So we are strategy and PvP oriented. And we have a very metrics-driven approach. Numbers are fun, right? And we strongly believe in metrics and in data. And we base all of the decisions that we make on a daily basis. Every single step that we take is based on metrics, on data. Well, last year, I've said before that we were at Castle Connect in Hamburg. This was our statement. We said that we had a challenge in front of us, a challenge for 2013. And that challenge was to be on the top grossing charts on the App Store and on Google Play. Because by that time, we didn't have any mobile game. So this is the picture of yesterday. And this is the picture of today. I took that picture, that screenshot, sorry, 10 days ago. We were on the top grossing ranks, on the top 9th position and the top 10 position, on the top grossing ranks in US with Dragon City. So it's amazing. It's just, we have achieved our goal, right? And this is also the picture of today. We have Dragon City on iOS. We have Dragon City on Android. We have Monster Legends on iOS. And coming soon, you will see Monster Legends also on Android. So I think that we have achieved this goal, but we are not happy enough. So we want more. We want more. And that's why, well, these are fun facts about those games. It's not really important. And I was saying that's why there's more to come. This game was released like 1 week ago in Spain. It's in beta version. It's a new real-time strategy game, tower defense game, in which you can control your troops, your battalions, and attack defensive units of your enemy's bases. And you can control also the super cool dragon. It's just amazing. You're going to love it. In a couple of months or 3 months, you're going to see it live. It's going to go live worldwide. And we are sure that this is going to rock big time. And there's even more to come, because we are working on 3D titles. We are also working on real-time strategy games. And we consider ourselves leaders of the subcategory breeding resource management. And don't misunderstand the word breeding, right? It's about breeding dragons, not breeding persons. Okay? And we consider ourselves leaders of that category because we have Dragon City on Facebook, we have Dragon City on iOS, we have Dragon City on Android, and we also have Monster Legends on Facebook and on iOS. And soon that game will be on Android as well. And we are working on this concept. And we are going to come up with a super awesome game, as I have to say, because I have played the prototype and it's incredible. We are going to come up with that game, and in a few months you're going to see it. We want to consolidate our position as mid-core leaders, as breeding resource management leaders. Okay, and that was more or less everything I had to say about Social Point. And now that you know what Social Point is, who we are, where are we going to, I'm going to introduce you to, the next chapter, behind the scenes, Dragon City. Okay. Okay, this is Dragon City at a glance. I'm going to focus basically on mobile, not on Facebook. This is basically the active users split by platform. 50% of them are on Facebook, on iOS, sorry, and 50% of them are on Android. What's relevant what's relevant here in this slide is the share of non-Facebook and Facebook connected players. You can see 42% of our players in iOS are non-Facebook connected, while 58% are Facebook connected. It's important to foster the social interaction among the players, because once the players are Facebook connected, the retentions go up big time. You have to take that into account. Bear that in mind, because it's going to help you out when developing your games. Also on Android, we've seen 31% are non-Facebook connected, while 69% are Facebook connected. Retentions usually ramps up when the players are Facebook connected, when there are social things between them, right? This is, these are some facts about Dragon City iOS. And I'm going to talk to you about how painful our way to launch the final version was. The beta version of Dragon City iOS was launched on December 5th of 2012. And it took us 3 versions till we were able to go for the full launch. Because first of all, the main challenge here was that we started from scratch. We didn't know anything about the mobile platform, right? We were recycling everything in the company in order to adapt ourselves to the mobile environment. And we eventually launched the game, full launch, on March 12th of 2013. So you can imagine how much effort you have to put in the project in order to launch a game. Three versions, and 4 months later, 4 months after, sorry, we launched Dragon City worldwide. Since then, we've gotten 21 million of installs, and that's the graph that you see on the right side of the screen shows the progression of daily active users on a weekly basis. So the game is still growing, at a very good pace, by the way. Some facts about Android. Whoops, sorry. We launched the beta version of Android on July 3rd of 2013, and it took us 4 versions till we went worldwide, till we released the full version, the Gold Master. And that happened on October 9th of 2013. Since then, we've gotten 12 million of installs. The big challenge here, the biggest challenge, was basically to deal with the fragmentation of the market. You may think that if you support Samsung, you support HTC, or you support Sony, well, you have covered 80% of the revenues. That's not true. Well, at least that doesn't work for us. Okay? With those devices, you are going to cover only 40% of the revenues of the market. And then there's a long tail there, and you have to support all those devices. And in our case, we are supporting 3,000 devices. It's just amazing. It's really complex to manage an Android game. At least, well, the way we propose it is really complex, but it is paying off, actually. So it makes sense. In the end, it made sense for us. So remember, if you are going to launch a game on Android platforms, you will have to deal with the fragmentation of the platform. And you will have to think a lot of what you want to do. Maybe give support only to a few devices or to all of them. Okay? And that's the same graph that we've seen for Dragon City iOS, but in this case, for Dragon City Android, this is still growing a lot, by the way. Okay, some fun facts. The population of dragons in Dragon City is around 500 million. 1 dragon per person in Europe. That's kind of cool, right? You know that famous phrase that says, make the love, not the war, something like that. I don't know the exact translation into English, but you know. Well, it seems that iOS players prefer to fight, while Android players prefer to make the love, right? Because iOS players fight 4 times more than Android players, while Android players breed dragons, of course, 3 times more than iOS players. Okay? And now that you have an overview of what Dragon City is, big numbers, I want to talk to you about how we run a game as a service, which is the key of our success, basically. I said this phrase in an interview with a journalist because I was asked, well, what's the most difficult thing when you launch a game? And I said, well, you may think that once you have launched a game, you don't have to do anything else, right? Well, actually, developing your game doesn't end when you release it. It begins. So, guys have said that, well, they killed 60 prototypes and they work a lot until they get 1 hit. But okay, that's one part of the story, but there's another part. And that part is that once the game is launched, you have to work really, really, really hard. Okay. Things that you should take into account. Scott has already mentioned the retention. Retention is crucial. And even though I'm Chief Monetization Officer at Social Point, which means that I'm focused on monetization, I have to say that I spend more time on working on retention, because retention is the main monetization driver of your games. So when you are developing your game, the first thing you should take into account, you should pay attention to, is the first session. The first session has to be awesome. The best session that the players can have. They must see everything that the game can offer, and you have to explain the basic mechanics of the game in that first session. So you have to polish it very well. Which tools do you have at hand to manage the first session? Well, mainly the funnels. There are other KPIs and metrics that you can use, but funnels. So take a look at the funnels constantly, because then you're going to identify perfectly where your players drop and which things you have to improve in order to boost retention. Take a look at second, third, 7th, 14th, 30th, 300-day retention if you want. It's really, really important. And there are tons of things that you can do in the game. You can tweak the balancing, you can change the game mechanisms, you can apply any time collect mechanics or appointment mechanics, whatever you want. but also think of things that are external to the games. For example, social interaction. You can foster retention, you can boost retention, you foster social interaction again. Facebook Connect versus Facebook, non-Facebook Connect. So I mean, your players are gonna trigger their friends to come back to the game. That's something that you can see in the game. Then use local notifications. Local notifications are really important when the players have started playing the game, because you are reminding them constantly, hey guys, come back to the game, there's something left to do. Okay? And then you have push notifications. Once those players have engaged, you can use push notifications to remind them that something is going on in the game, something really special is in the game. So come back and keep playing. Then keep an eye on your loyal player base, on your loyal players. Your loyal players are the ones who are going to make your game be sustainable in time. Without them, you're not going to be able to keep growing. You're not going to be able to succeed, basically. So loyal players are really important. How you can measure the way your loyal players behave or how happy they are in a game? With following the retention, stickiness. For a casual game, the following the retention and stickiness should be extremely high. For mid-core games, should be also very high. Hardcore games are, work in a different way. But keep an eye on it. And once you are happy with the retention that you have, once your retention is high enough, then focus on monetization. But remember this, the main monetization driver is the retention. Okay? Well, this is the structure of our teams. It's quite similar to WUGA's. Also, I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to talk about how we run a game as a service. And we basically apply the scientific method. We basically identify a problem, or we want to improve something in the game. So we start collecting data, and we transform that data into information, okay? Objective information. We combine that objective information with subjective information, the feedback that we get from our players. And you can use for that the reviews, either on Google Play or in the App Store. You can use your forums, fan pages, whatever you can imagine, even customer support services. And that's really important. And by the way, when taking a look at the reviews, I would suggest you to take a look at the bad reviews, not the good ones. The good ones are good for your ego. But the bad ones are the ones who are going to teach you what you have to change in your game. Okay? So it's important. Take a look at the bad reviews. Then we combine everything. We mix everything up. And we came up with this. We gather all the team together, especially the creative people, and we design a flowchart. And we combine that flowchart with a mockup. Then we develop that mockup, and we start developing the feature. Once the feature is developed, we run some focus group and usability test in-house in order to understand whether what we are doing makes sense or not. We can find out some blockers there in the user interface or in the flows, so it's important to test everything we do. After that, we polish and we go for the final version. By the way, you are going to see this feature very soon in the game. Okay? We polish and we go for the final version. And we release it. And then, well, this wheel starts spinning. A lot of people are talking about AAA games. But from our point of view, we should focus more on the AAA games. AAA games, why? I for iteration, and I for iteration, right? So go for the AAA concept. This is very important. In this industry, we have to iterate a lot. Call it A/B test or whatever, but you have to test your things tons of times. So this is exactly what we do. We came up with the feedback and the analysis. We combine it. We iterate a little bit on it. We go for a game design. We develop. We test it. We find bugs. We fix those bugs. We iterate again in-house, and then we release it. And the wheel starts spinning again and again and again. And by doing that, you will be able to achieve your goals. But it's a painful and time-consuming process. You have, for example, here, this is a real example, by the way. This graph shows the revenues generated by a feature in Dragon City. And this feature is generating 20% of the revenues of Dragon City. So, it's a bunch of money. The red area shows the money that this feature is generating. Okay, you can see perfectly when this feature was launched, right? The colorful area shows the money that this feature is generating after the iterations. And the small flags, the small white circles that you see, are all the iterations that we did, more than 20. And it took us more than 1.5 months to achieve that goal. But we were really happy at the end, you know. It was a painful path, a painful way of doing things, but it paid off. And these were the results. So we were able to increase the active players month over month by 16.5% on iOS. We multiplied by 3 the weekly conversion rate, and we were able to increase the lifetime value of our players by 65%. Right? So iteration is the key. Similar results for Android, although not as good as on the results of iOS. But we are working on it. We are still iterating, eh? Iterate till the end. That's the message. Okay. That was the good news. Now we're going to talk about the bad news. I guess that all of you know the butterfly effect, or what the butterfly effect is, right? A butterfly flaps its wings here, and something horrible or terrible happens, you know, in the other part of the world. That happened to us several times. In fact, our ratio of success is 1 to 10. We fail 10 times until we get the results that we were expecting. So it's very in line with what my colleagues from Google have said. So I'm going to explain to you 2 simple examples of this butterfly effect. First, force upgrade. We thought that by doing a force upgrade long ago, we were going to be able to make our players get the latest version of the game and enjoy much more the new features that we released. Well, we were really happy, and then we click on the button, release the Kraken, and something happened. We lost 10% of our player base. So be careful with the force upgrades. Yeah, and the players who were affected the most were the ones who joined the game recently. Okay, and we were not happy with those results, so we decided to do it again. We made the mistake twice. Incredible, right? Well, that's the only way to learn, right? And we did it again, and we lost again 10% of our player base. So I'm going to put you an example. Imagine that you have 1 million daily active users. And overnight, you lose 100,000 daily active users. If we say that the CPI is $1, which is, by the way, very cheap nowadays, you're losing, that's cost, not investment, that's cost, $100,000. And also, you are also losing the potentially money that those players were going to generate. So be very careful with these kinds of things. And don't make the same mistake that we did, right? Another thing, small things can make the difference. When we launched Monster Legends, we took a look at the funnels, first session, remember? And we realized that the funnels were 5% better, absolute number, not relative, 5% better than Dragon City. And in the loading part, thank you, Scott. And in the loading part, the games are technically equal. There were no differences. So we were, triggering our minds in order to identify what was the thing that was happening there. And one guy came up with this. Can you see that super small loading wheel over there? That was the only difference between the 2 games in the loading screen. And that was causing us to lose 5% of all the people, in the first session. Amazing. So take a look, pay attention to the small things, because those things can make the difference, right? So, no, we didn't realize that we didn't put that loading wheel, for example. So, okay. And the key takeaways I want you to take today after this session. First of all, be metrics driven. And numbers are fun. I love numbers, right? And I think that numbers are really, really fun. But your game must be more fun than the numbers, okay? So listen to your audience. That's also important. Apply the triple I concept. We develop triple I games, not triple A games, right? Iteration, iteration, and iteration. Be bold and don't give up. You have to be patient when iterating, and you have to be creative and bold. And think of what worked well and what didn't. Don't replicate your mistakes, please. don't do as we did. If the last year we came with a challenge for 2013, we've come this year with a new challenge for this year, for 2014. And I have come with two challenges for this year. First of all, Asia is our main challenge. And the second one is that we want to have at least 2 more games of the top grossing ranks. And well, what I have to say regarding this is that challenge accepted. Thank you guys for your question.
Thank you, Jose. I hope that all of the thousands of Casual Connect conference attendees just tweeted out about III games. That's very clever. Unfortunately, we're out of time.